Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Here we are going to study the important essay of William Hazlitt on the ignorance of the learned. Hazlitt essay on the ignorance of the learned has been taken from his Table Talk Essays on Man and Manners 1882. In this essay, Hazlitt guides us and believes that common sense is far better than bookish knowledge. He says that the bookworms and people living in town lack common sense. However, people who live in villages have plenty of common sense. They can find good and bad in human beings. He humorously remarks that a bookworm will not leave his book whatsoever happens. On the other hand, we can expect a paralytic to rise up even without a miracle. In other words, a book reader become a sloth, a lazy person. They just copy and paste pictures. He believes that the memory is the lowest faculty of mind. A student having a good memory can cram everything. It's no good. But to create something, one needs imagination. So imagination is a far better faculty of mind than memory. Here Hazlitt is also following the path and philosophy of Coleridge, who in 1817 wrote extensively on memory and imagination. Hazlitt says that there are people who can speak many foreign languages, but when it comes to their native languages, they are speechless. Hazlitt also says that books do not teach the use of books. He says that Shakespeare was far away from academic learning. That's why his creativity was of a great genius. However, when one reads his critics, one realizes how insignificant they are. Traits of the learned. A learned person lives in unreal world. He is more influenced by the bookish knowledge. He sees the world through others. He doesn't know anything about his next door neighbor. Due to his exemplary memory, he remembers names of authors, their works, and so on. He has no sense of the human traits. He cannot judge the human character. He doesn't know about the traits of his friends. He masters formal learning through book. He will not leave his book no matter what happens. But a learned person is just a sloth, a lazy person. When it comes to his native language, he can't write, speak, or read it properly. That's why he is proficient and excels in his own subjects, but when it comes to the real life, he has no knowledge of it. He is unable to answer the easiest question about the real life. In other words, a learned person is a slave to the strict scholastic discipline. Bookish knowledge. Hazlitt calls bookish knowledge woefully deficient almost in everything. It is nothing but a foil to common sense. It can never overcome the importance of true knowledge. True knowledge is all about common sense. Book limit our knowledge. An illiterate person or a person from countryside is a better judge of human behavior. Hazlitt says that book can never teach about books. Book makes us handicapped. To get an answer to the simplest question of life, a book reader will open a book indeed. And a bookworm can never be spontaneous. An uneducated mind is far better than a bookworm. That's why Hazlitt concludes his essay with his remark, to know the force of human genius, we should read Shakespeare, and to see the insignificance of human learning, we may study his commentators. And the conversational and informal style of this essay. In the very beginning of the essay, Hazlitt starts with a quotation which is a formal style to writing, and there is a basic style of writing in which there is a beginning, middle, and an end. And the style of his essay is spontaneous, and he gives relevant examples from day-to-day lives. He don't use very tough vocabulary, and there is no ornamentation, not tough metaphors. His entire essay is woven with short sentences. For example, the thing is plain. Then he talks about idler at school. Hazlitt says our men of the great geniuses have not been most distinguished for their requirements at a school or the university. Hazlitt believes that the idlers cannot grasp the learning at school. The one who have sharp memory are those who use the least useful faculty of mind, memory is not as powerful as imagination. Hazlitt speaks in favor of idlers. For Hazlitt and those idlers, learning at school is meaningless and they cannot grasp knowledge through rote learning. But the biggest irony is that the success of a student at school depends on rote learning. When it comes to human learning, Hazlitt holds that it is of no importance to mankind. All this is a waste. In the real world, this learning has no significance. Knowledge stands nowhere in front of common sense. Through learning, someone can know about the world of books. They can quote other authorities while speaking and writing about something. In the memory of a learned man, there is storehouse of quotation. These quotations are the sole basis of their existence. But after grasping this nonsense from books, the learned scholars can't find any beauty in nature or art. Hazlitt speaks against bookish knowledge in this essay. For Hazlitt, the power of imagination and observation is far more important. A bookworm is a sloth, he is hopeless. Learned person knows no joys of life, he can't appreciate art. A learned person can't judge even himself and not others too. Bookish knowledge makes us the theoretically strong, but it has nothing to do with the real world and link between human geniuses and human learning. But actually, there is no link between the human genius and human learning. A genius mind creates through imagination. On the other hand, human learning or formal learning teaches us to use the lowest faculty of the mind, and that is memory. In the real world, bookish knowledge has no significance. That's why the real knowledge can never be acquired through the formal education. And according to Hazlitt, the ignorance of the learned is their lack of familiarity with things of practical experiences and actual observation. The learned are ignorant of the beauties of nature, the spirit of music, art, and poetry, sports, trade, or occupation. They know nothing of the practical aspects of life. Hazlitt believes that the learned spend too much time reading other people's opinion instead of getting out into the real world. And according to Hazlitt, they are ignorant in the following areas. First is imagination, then morality, and then physical fitness. Imagination, they use books to think for themselves instead of using their own imagination, and instead of observing what seems to be right or wrong in the real world, they read about other views of morality. Hazlitt cites example of Shakespeare, who uses his own observation about vice and virtue to formulate personal morality. And look at sculptures and paintings and read about the human form and fitness, but don't use their own bodies to run, walk, or work with their hands. This essay on the ignorance of the learned, Hazlitt attacked formal education. He revealed the serious weaknesses of the learned and who ignorant to all other. And William Hazlitt, known for his biting satirical essays, attacks formal education. This essay is more about Hazlitt logic regarding education and practical knowledge. He writes that those who have learned from books and formal schools do not possess true knowledge because according to Hazlitt, true knowledge is common sense, intuition, and what we refer to as street smarts.